So the last class we were looking at dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which was the four purusharthas. In that dharma we had discussed, we were talking about dharma means the righteous living. Okay, what is right? What is best? What is shreyas for me? This was the dharma part of it, where we are talking about. So we had referred it to one of the Bhagavad Gita shloka also, which said that it is important, it is better to do one's natural prescribed duty, one's natural passion, one's natural talent. And then, even though it may not be a big thing or it may not be a perfect thing, than doing something without our mind and heart in it. It may be perfect, it may look very nice, it may fetch you more benefits. But if your heart and mind is not in it, then you're not actually going to give your 100% to it. So that is what it means to follow one's prescribed duty. Then we saw another one, again similar thing, only that if you do our own dharma, one's own dharma. So this was something where it was a little, people could misinterpret it as, okay, so we should only, the caste system was told by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita as what the misinterpretation is. But he's not talking about the caste system. He's saying that the whatever dharma is not by birth, it is by action. So whatever is my dharma, whatever is my skill, whatever is my talent, I need to do that. That is my dharma. Where, so that I can put in my entire heart, body, mind, soul into it to do it. Otherwise, you're doing half enough. Like, you don't want to do it, but you're forced to do it. You do it with a lot of irritation, with a lot of frustration. That's not what we should be doing. Okay. So we had spoken about it, so I'm not going to speak more about that. So, okay, before this, let's look into the artha again. Okay, so what is the next purushartha? Is artha. So artha here means wealth. Wealth need not be only in terms of money. Wealth can be a knowledge of wealth. Yeah, you can have a lot of people around you. That is also a wealth. People who are there to help you, support you. That is also a kind of wealth. You have a good friendship. That is also a wealth, isn't it? So artha is in terms of wealth. Okay. Now here, if you look at it, dharma, artha, and even kama. Kama is the attachment. Okay. Any attachment, any desires that you have, all that will come under the kama. So now whether it is dharma, whether it is artha or kama, people do it for either of the two things. They get, once they do that, you either get papa or you get punya. You do a proper righteous living, you get punya. If you are not righteous, then you get papa. If you get wealth by your own effort without cheating anybody, that is punya. If you cheat and acquire wealth, that becomes papa. If you have an attachment over worldly desires, then that incurs papa. If your attachment of your desire is to seek the ultimate knowledge, that becomes punya. So there are two. So people look into both these aspects of papa and punya on the first three. But when it comes to moksha, there is nothing like papa or punya. All this dharma, artha, kama, people do it for either to get punya more. But if you need to understand, moksha is beyond all that thing. We had discussed, right? So when you incur papa, then also you go into the cycle of birth and death. When you get punya, then also you go into the cycle of birth and death. Because that is also an action, and every action, there will be an effect. If there is a cause, there will be an effect. So one who goes beyond this papa and punya with full surrender, with total surrender, Ishvara Pranidhana. That is something which we see very, very often, that you totally surrender, and whatever good deeds that you're doing, it's also to say that, oh, it is not it's not the me, without that ego coming in. Say that it is because of the grace of the divine that I am doing this good deed. So if you do that, there is no effect then. It gets neutralized. And that will ultimately lead to moksha. Okay. So that is what it was. So now, so here, that is what the poet Rumi is a great poet, Sufi saint he was. He used to say that the whole universe exists within us. Ask all from yourself. His quotes are so beautiful. He says the whole universe exists within us. If Brahman is there within us, that means the whole universe is within us, no? Yeah. So you're part of the divine, and the divine exists with us. That means what? The entire universe is existing within me. If the entire universe is existing within me, to whom do I ask certain things? I ask myself only, no? Whatever I need, I ask myself, not outside anything. Right? There is nothing outside because the whole universe is existing within me. Okay, so to understand it and to assimilate that, you will require a lot of Vedantic philosophical understanding. Only then you can understand that the whole universe is within me. But we always are still seeking things outside. So that is why we are not able to really understand that. We are still seeing the divine outside and not within us. And that is why this confusion comes in. How can we ask ourselves? Okay. So when you are in your meditation, just meditate upon this thought that the whole universe exists within me. Ask all from myself. With this thought, you meditate upon it, you will probably get a little more clarity on it. See, all these quotes, you can use this thought. You can use not just as a quote, okay, but use this as a thought to reflect upon it in your meditations. Okay. There's one more quote. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing yourself is enlightenment. So by knowing you, I might get to know about you. Yeah, I might acquire some knowledge. But the knowledge that I have within me, if I understand that, if I know that, it's just that it's a little dark. I have to just put on that light to know myself, and that's enlightenment. Okay. So all these are thoughts which you can reflect upon, or you just meditate on these thoughts. It will help you out. There's another one. Swami Chinmayananda says, may your life be simple and pure, so you know only beauty. Isn't it? When I am pure at heart, all that I can see is that purity outside also. May your mind be clear and quiet, so you speak only of truth. You don't have to make up stories then. If your mind is clear, you don't have to make up stories. If you don't make up stories, whatever you speak will be the truth. May your heart be filled with love and compassion, so you radiate light to all you meet. May all you do be blessed with divine grace. So when your heart is filled with love and compassion, you all start radiating that everywhere you go. You become so bright. Okay, so that is what it means to stay by this. So when you follow the dharma, artha, kama in the right manner, then all these things will come in quite easily to you. Verse 1.1.5. Sutikshna uvacha Bhagavan dharma tattvajna sarvashastra vinischita samshayosti mahaneka vametam kripaya vada. This is where we had started out the dharma explanation, isn't it? That Sutikshna is telling to sage Agastya. You remember? He went for getting more knowledge, getting more understanding. So he says that you are the knower of dharma. Yeah, you have like literally churned. The entire scripture is there within you. Okay, so you're that knowledgeable, and I have a great doubt. Okay, so tell me, instruct me, help me out so that all my doubts are cleared. Okay, so when we wanted to discuss about you are the knower of dharma, and that's what we were looking at the sorry, Purusharthas. Yeah, let's continue that. Mokshasya karanam karma jnanam va moksha sadhanam bhayam va vinischitya ekam kathaya karanam. So what was Sutikshna's doubt? What was Sutikshna's question to sage Agastya? Is action the cause of moksha? Or is knowledge, is wisdom that helps me to get that freedom of myself? Or is it both? Should I attempt both karma as well as knowledge? Should I be focusing on karma yoga or should I be focusing on jnana yoga? Or should I be doing a combination of it? What is karma yoga? The attitude of doing actions. The attitude with which, what attitude? The total surrender. That is, I am not doing it. The divine, I'm just the mediator. It is the divine who is making me do these things. It is through me the divine is getting what work, whatever work that he has to be, whatever work has to be done, he is making it done through me. So that was the karma yoga. The other one is jnana yoga. Is it through knowledge only that I can get liberated? So is it through karma yoga or jnana yoga or the combination of both which can lead to liberation? Please tell me so that I can accordingly do is what Sutikshna is asking. Agastiruvacha उभाभ्यामेव पक्षाभ्याम यथा खे पक्षिणां गतिः तथैव ज्ञान कर्मभ्याम जायते परमं पदम्. So sage Agastya says, a bird flies on two wings. Yeah, with one wing can it balance? No, it will fall. It will not be able to fly. In the same way, we cannot just be doing any action and sitting. So, a soul can get liberated only through the combination of jnana and karma yoga. Action is needed. Through the knowledge that we gain, there is actions needed. And that action is done with Ishvara Pranidhana, then we get liberated. How? So that's, what actions, what knowledge we should gain, that we will see later. Kevala karmano jnana nahi moksho bhijayate kintu babhyam bhaven mokshaha sadhanantu bhayam viduhu. Again, it is neither our acts nor knowledge alone, but together. So he's making it more and more. So why again and again he's enforcing is so that there is no confusion. With action and with knowledge, both are needed. Only then one can get liberated. So both are the means to do. So see, when you do karma yoga, with that intention of Ishvara Pranidhana, then Bhakti Yoga automatically comes into it. Isn't it? When I surrender and do any actions, then Bhakti is a part of it. Okay. Then the other one is the Raja Yoga. When I have the knowledge, to get that knowledge, it is a mixture of Raja Yoga. So you have certain sadhanas, you have certain practices that you do along with the Jnana. So it actually, see, it is not just with one path is not the ultimate one to attain freedom or attain liberation. It is a combination of all the four paths. Because there are a lot of things which needs to go. So through karma yoga, our ego just, the ahankara will come down. That I am doing it, that comes down. And to understand Jnana Yoga, I need to know Raja Yoga. Only then I can understand Jnana Yoga. And since I'm doing the Jnana Yoga and the Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga with the Ishvara Pranidhana Bhakti Yoga automatically comes in. If I just have Bhakti, okay, and if I don't have the Jnanam within me, that will also not help me lead. After a particular point, I get stuck. We did see in a lot of Puranas and lot of stories that, just with Bhakti. But it was not just with Bhakti. At a certain point, Jnana also comes into them. Only then they are able to attain moksha. If you look at Bhagavatam, where the Gopikas in Krishna, when they were with Vrindavan, that was bhakti, what they were showing towards Krishna. But after a certain point of time, much later in their lives, Krishna happens to meet all those Gopikas, not in Vrindavan because he never goes back to Vrindavan, at another place. I don't remember the name of the place. So he goes and meets there. So it was a ritual there to an offering to the ancestors. So all the Gopikas were also part there. Krishna and Rukmini and from here also all met at that particular place. And there he gives a lot of knowledge to the Gopikas. So that was part of the Jnana Yoga there. Okay, so there is Jnana Yoga which is required maybe at a certain point, even if you have only just the Bhakti part. If we have only the Karma part of it, we are only doing the Karma Yoga, there also, if we do not have that complete surrender, we might have a neutral attitude, but if you're still not fully surrendering, that Bhakti is not coming in, then again, that there is still that ego which will still be there. And that is also a result of not having the jnana. So if I have the jnanam, the I-ness also reduces. We'll know that what is the action that I need to be doing, what I should be focusing on. That comes only through jnanam. So a combination is required. It cannot just go with one. So even though one might be so you can take a lead path of one of the path, but the other parts also needs to be there, at least a little part of it. So some, these Gopikas, they were fully into bhakti. Mirabai, fully into bhakti. And little part of the other paths, the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and the Raja Yoga. Okay, so there are some who are completely into the Jnana Yoga and they have a small combinations of karma, bhakti and Raja Yoga. So everybody, so it is important to have an overall. So again, see, it is looking at an overall spiritual development. Like how we say for a physical body, if people come and say in yoga classes, I only want to reduce my stomach. Yeah, I only want to reduce my thighs. Yeah, so that doesn't work, in the sense that's not the right way of keeping your body healthy. Yeah, you can focus on one. If we feel that yes, the abdomen part is what which needs to be focused more, yeah, but along with that, work on the all the body parts also, because your abdomen doesn't work independently, isn't it? My abdomen requires oxygen. My abdomen requires is doing the digestion part. Yeah, the circulation part is there. It helps to remove the wastes also. So all system, the nervous system passes through. The nerves pass through, isn't it? Abdomen says no, 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 no nerves come into me. Does it say no? So it's all there, right? And all muscles are interconnected. Yeah, the abdominal muscles also help the spine, right? So everything is needed. So I cannot say I will only focus on one body part. I will only do that exercise, not any other exercise. I focus on it more, but I also give an overall development, overall work towards to the entire body. Similarly here, I take one path as the primary path, but I should have all the other three also as the secondary part to this main thing. Clear? So that is what Agastya is also telling Sutikshna, that it is a combination. Alone will not attain liberation. Asminnarthe puravrittam itihasam vadami te karunyakya pura kaschet brahmanodhita vedakaha. Says from the ancient traditions, from the itihasa, from something what was there before, I will share a story which will help you to understand better. So here you see there are many characters who will be coming in. So just so that you don't get confused. So first was Sutikshna and sage Agastya, right? Now Agastya is telling a story about a Brahmin called Karunya. Okay, to Sutikshna he's telling. Okay, so now you're getting one more character called as Karunya here. Okay, who was well versed in the Vedas. Adhita Vedakaha, well versed. Okay, so what is this story about Karunya? We'll see. So, Agniveshyasya putro bhut Veda Vedanga paragaha Puroradhita vidya sanna jagama graham prati. So, he's getting it a little more understanding. Says that he was the son of Agniveshya. Now the fourth character comes in. So, sage Agastya is telling to Sutikshna about a Brahmin called Karunya, whose father was Agniveshya. Okay. So, Agniveshya son was Karunya. So, what happened? Karunya, he received all the education. He went to the Gurukulam. He had extensive knowledge about the Vedas and the Vedangas. Vedanga paragaha. He got good education in the field of Vedas and Vedangas under a Guru. What are the four Vedas? Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. Those are the four Vedas. What are the what are the 6 Vedangas? Anga means limbs of Vedas. Veda, Angas, limbs. What are all these supporting materials for the Vedas, for understanding the Vedas? Veda Angas means what are the supporting materials to understand the Vedas? There are Angas, limbs of Veda. Shiksha means phonetics. Vyakarana, grammar. Chandas, meter. Nirukta, etymology. Kalpa, ritual. Jyotishya, astronomy. So the 6 Vedangas are Shiksha, Chandas, Vyakarana, Nirukta, what did I miss? Jyotisha and Kalpa. These are the 6 Vedangas, the limbs of the Veda. So to understand Vedas, people all study these also. They study the Shiksha part, the Nirukta part. Yeah, they need to understand the Chandas to chant it. You need to follow a particular Chandas, isn't it? Vyakarana is needed. You cannot just chant anyhow. There is grammar involved in it. So all these are the limbs through which, yeah, one can study the Vedas. It's the supporting materials. So here, Agniveshya son Karunya, he had studied extensively both the Vedas and the Vedangas under a guru. After he completed his studies, he came back to from his Gurukulam, he came back to his home. Tasbhava karma kritushni samshayano grihetada Agniveshyo vilokyatha putrang karma vivarjitam. So what happened after he came back? He studied Vedas, Vedangas, everything. And once he came back, he was a little confused. So the second confused person. First was the Sutikshna. Now the Karunya is also. What happened was, he stopped doing all the rituals. Like Sandhyavandanam, Agnihotram, okay? These are the rituals which has been done every day. So he stopped doing all that. He was not continuing it. So seeing this, his father, yeah, he asked, what happened? He wanted to know what happened. Why is my son, after coming from the Gurukulam, not doing any of the rituals? So there it is understood as duties. There are all these rituals. It's something which it's a nitya karma again, right? It's a nitya karma. Why is my son not doing his nitya karmas? Agniveshya uvacha prahayetadvacho nindyam guru putram hitaya cha kimetat putra kurushe palanana swakarmanaha. Agniveshya went to his son and asked, what happened to you? Yeah, did so what is happening? Why this? For the benefit of the son and for the grace of the gurus. So here we'll go through a set of explanations as to what is this benefit of the son, of himself, and for the grace of the guru. Putram hitaya, benefit, and guru, the grace of the guru. What is this? Why should he do the rituals for these 2 people? Not only just for these 2 people, there are many other things. So the Yajnopavitam, one who wears the Yajnopavitam, it can be worn by everybody, because if you understand what does that signify, then you will know why it should be worn by everybody. So there are 3 strands in the Yajñopavitam. Right? So the first, each of these three strands represent the rinas, the debts that we'll have to perform. There are certain duties, there are certain debts which needs to be, right? Say if you take a loan from somebody, you're in debt to that person, right? You have to return it back, right? Otherwise, it's not the right thing to do. It's not dharma then, isn't it? You take money from somebody and you don't return it back, right? So similarly, there is certain rinas which is there and it needs to be fulfilled. Okay, that is the dharma. Now, what are the rinas? One is the deva rina, pitra rina, and the acharya rina. These are the three rinas. Now, the deva rina is, how do we give this rina back? How do we fulfill this rina? Yeah, there are, from the religious point of view, people say that if you do pujas, homams, then the deva rina is fulfilled. But if you look at it from a spiritual point of view, deva means the one who gives. And what all he has given? This whole creation. For what? For us to live, transform ourselves and pass on this to the next generations. Isn't it? So this whole creation is our response. To take care of that creation is our responsibility because it has been created for us. So if we do not take care of it, we are not fulfilling this rina. This debt is incomplete then. How do we safeguard? By making sure we don't pollute the air. We don't pollute the water. We grow trees, not cut trees. If we cut one tree, let's grow 10 trees. Yeah. So every being in this universe has a right to live. Yeah. Taking away somebody's life for our benefit, that is not taking the rina. That is not fulfilling the rina. Isn't it? Yeah, for our, say, even the practice of non-violence comes here. If we are looking at killing somebody just and eating just for our taste buds, then that's not the right way of living. So the rina is not fulfilled there. So deva rina is fulfilled by taking care of the creation. Then we have the pitra rina. Pitra Rina means not just the Pitra means only the father here. It is everybody who has taken care of us, who has helped us grow from what we were to what we are now. So all those people who were there with us, who have helped us, all can be considered as our Pitra. So to take care of them whenever they are in need of us. That is the way we can fulfill this Pitra Rina. It's not that after the parents die, you every year you do the rituals. When they were living, you didn't bother at all. And after they die, every year religiously you do the rituals. That's not going to help. Yeah. Then the next one is the Acharya Rina. So whoever gives the knowledge, all are gurus for us. And what do? Don't keep it to ourselves. Oh, this knowledge, this is something which I can go well with. I can become very successful in it. So let me keep it to myself. So here, Acharya Rina is by sharing that knowledge with others, not holding it. Okay, that's how you do. So we have seen, no? Parents telling their children, hey, don't share your notes with anybody else. You will get less marks then. Yeah, during exam time, you shouldn't share that knowledge. Yes. Yeah. When the next student who's sitting there says, okay, show me that answer, that time we don't have to do it. But all other times, if I know something, let me also help share that knowledge with another person. We can share first ranks together, no? Yeah. We don't have to say, I alone should become. I have to become first is fine. I alone should become first is not the right. So share the knowledge, help somebody. And if you share knowledge, we acquire more knowledge. You've seen when you tell something to somebody, if the questions that they ask, sometimes we wouldn't have even thought about it. And that question will help us to understand, oh, this part of it which I did, which I really missed. So that way, we also gather more knowledge by sharing knowledge. So that's how the Acharya Rina is fulfilled. So all this is there. So that is why this grace of the Guru is how? By the fulfillment of the Acharya Rina. Benefit of the son you will get it only when you do it, he says. Okay, so only when I do all that rinas, I have to fulfill that rina, isn't it? So I need to do certain things. But here, this talking about the ritual part of it also, yeah. And he's telling that, why are you neglecting the responsibilities? Don't just sit after that. You have to get into the action mode now. Akarmanirata siddhing katham prapsyasi tadvada कर्मणोऽस्मान्निवृत्तेः किं कारणं तन्निवेद्यता. Says, explain to me. So Agnivisha is still telling. First he said, why aren't you doing all the responsibilities? It is for your benefit and for the grace of the Guru. And he says, explain to me, how can you achieve success if you continue to remain inactive? It's like this. Uh, the child, he finishes all his studies, doesn't go to work, sit at home then. Huh? After all the education is done, not doing any work and continue to sit idly at home is not the right thing. No, this is what Karunya was doing, it seems. So he says, how you can achieve success? How will you move forward now? You have learned it. Okay, you have come back from the Gurukulam with all knowledge of Vedas and Vedangas. But now what? Why have you put a full stop to it? Give me the reasons. Okay, what is bothering you? He's trying to be very good to his son. It's like, what is the problem? You can share the problem with me. Okay, let me know what it is. How can I help you? Why have you withdrawn like this from any actions? So, Karunya uvacha yavajjivamagnihottram nityam sandhyamupasayet pravrittirupo dharmoyam Shrutya smritya cha choditaha. Karunya answers that the Shrutis and Smritis. What are the Shrutis? What comes under the Shrutis? Vedas.
Vedas.
What comes under the Smritis? Manusmriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti. Smritis are that which can be remembered. Shrutis are that which is heard. Smritis are that which is remembered. Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti. It comes under the Smriti Prasthana. Vedas come under the Shruti Prasthana. So there are 4 kinds of scriptures. If you see, Shrutis are the Vedas. Then there are Smritis. Then there is Puranas. And then there are Itihasas. Shrutis are that which is heard. Smritis are that which is remembered. Purana is that which may or may not have happened. Purana means it's more of drashtantas to explain the siddhantas. To understand the Shrutis and the Smritis in the form of stories, Puranas will help you understand. So, because there are stories, some may have happened, some may not have happened. And itihasa is that which has happened. Itihasa. Thus it happened. Thus indeed it happened. So itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata comes under the itihasas. Okay. So the Shrutis and the Smritis, the Vedas and all the Manusmriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, all this are explain that once you start the Sandhya Vandanam, Agnihotram, you should not stop it, they say. Continue it, they say. It is a lifelong observance, they say. Okay, and says that Dharma, right? We have seen Dharma explanation. So Dharma is linked to active engagement, righteous living, isn't it? So you need to be in an action mode. It is as reflected in the concept of pravritti, actions, isn't it? So it is there. So what he wants to continue with it. So he says that our scriptures are talking about the observances of all the nitya karmas and also about living in the dharmic way, yeah, in an action mode. Na dhane na bhavin mokshaha karmana prajayan va tyagamastre kinpeke yatayoshnanti chamritam. So at the same time, so he says that all the observances have to be done, yeah, is what is being told in the Vedas and Vedangas. But at the same time, they're also telling what the scriptures are also telling, moksha or liberation cannot be attained by wealth, by activity, or by progeny, continuing the generations. It is solely by renunciation that seekers after truth attain supreme freedom. So here, the Shrutis and the Smritis part of it that he is talking about is more of the Karma Kanda. Now, so one more term I am using it. The Mantra Samhita, so the Vedas have 4 divisions. Mantra Samhita, Mantra Bhaga, Brahmana Bhaga, Aranyaka Bhaga, and Upanishads. So the first 2, Veda, the mantra and the Brahmana comes under the Karma Kanda. All the rituals, chanting, rituals, homams. Aranyaka comes under the Upasana Kanda, the sadhana, the practices. And Upanishads come under the Jnana Kanda. Now here he is talking about all the rituals, see the Agnihotram, Sandhya Vandanam, all this is coming under, like if I do this, you will, if you don't do this, you are going to acquire sin, or you're not following the dharmic way, is what is being given in the Karma Kanda. Okay, so here it's again one who learns Upanishads, then all these, the ritual part will be moved away for that person because he attained something and he doesn't want this. So any karma, in the Karma Kanda, what happens is that it's like the Papa Punya, what I explained in the Dharma Artha Kama, no? So there, if you do it, you may just leave. But if you don't do it, you will get papam, is what they say. Okay, it's more there. There it is it is not the nishkama pravritti. You get something, you don't get something. That's how the karma kanda behaves. The Upanishads is more from the nishkama karma. That is, you're not expecting anything from it. I'm doing this work. I'm not expecting any results from it. I'm not expecting any benefits from it. If it comes, let it come. I'm not bothered. If it comes also, I'm not bothered. If it doesn't come also, I'm not bothered. So there is no, you're not getting any effect of it, isn't it? It is not coming into your karmas. Yeah, it will not come under the pot of the karmas that you have. You will be getting in, and the prarabdha will not be there. So the action of cycle of birth and death will not come in there. So he says that there they're talking about that, right, of doing the dharmic way in which I might acquire certain karmas to myself. At the same time, there is another part which is telling that moksha, if I have to get, I should not go behind the materialistic wealth, materialistic activities, and also moving into a family life, progeny, increasing. All this is, again, it will come under the dharma, artha, kama. So I will be stuck in this. I'm not getting. So again, look at that. That's why I spent a little longer time explaining the dharma for you. Dharma, artha, kama. So the Purushartha chatushtaya is important. These three are the ones. And what is dharma, artha, kama? If you understand, then moksha, you will be able to understand it well. So he says that to attain moksha, I need to move away from it. I need to have a mode of renunciation. Only then vairagyam has to come in. That is when I will be able to get the freedom. So why should I be a part of? So I'm confused. Whether should I do all this daily rituals or I should go behind the jnana part of it, jnana yoga. Okay. Okay. So we'll go deeper and to see what Agniveshya will tell Karunya as to what is the path, how to proceed. Will he give the answer very directly, or he will also beat around the bush, or he will tell it in the form of a story? What is it? We will see in the next few verses. Okay. Close it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.